To the left was a grouping of objects that included taro, the bell from a locomotive, a bass fiddle, and a wonderful kapa. I think one of the things I like to do when I'm putting an exhibition together is show that there's more about human beings, that we are alike than we are different. In other words, even though culturally we may have had different backgrounds, that there are certain values that we hold as human beings that are sort of really universal. And this, by juxtaposing sort of diverse objects, you can kind of convey that idea. And so we might have something from someone who's Hawaiian, next to something that is from someone who is Japanese or someone who is Chinese. And so that there are these kinds of commonalities that bring people together. And that's part of what this exhibition, I think, was all about. Anyway, this was an interesting little grouping, because one of the things that we wanted to do is what happened when we interviewed a certain Hawaiian family out at Hana, they mentioned that to them the most important thing was the taro. That was, really most important to this family. And that became a real problem for us, because we were thinking, how are we going to show this? Are we just going to bring some of the corms or the roots of the taro and put it there? Or do we put out some fresh poi every day? Or do we have someone take a photograph of the taro? Or maybe we could have someone draw the taro. There was a lot of different possibilities of things we could do, but nothing seemed to sort of get to the essence of what that taro was, which was the taro itself, the plants, which was important to the family. And this is what they wanted to make sure was passed on from generation to generation. And so finally we came up with the idea that yes, we would build this platform. We would have this big tub there on the platform or within the platform, and we would have actual taro growing in it. So we made arrangements with the family to dig up some of the taro and bring it into Wailuku, and we would plant it in this tub. Well, they brought it in, and by the time they made the hour-long trip along the Hana coast, the taro was totally limp and it just would not revive. So it looked terrible. So I thought, oh gosh, our plan is not working. What are we going to do? Do we go back to some photographs or some other plan? And I was determined that we've got to have the real taro from this family in this exhibition. I mean, that's what it was all about. It's just a drawing, a photograph. It's just not going to be the same thing. And so we finally came up with the idea that we talked to the family, and we said, well, what if you brought the taro in the middle of the night when the weather is cool, and if you drove all the way in from Hana with your taro, do you think it would still be alive? They said, well, they didn't know, but let's try it. So they tried it. And when they got it into Wailuku, Kahului area, to the Arts and Cultural Center, the taro was still fresh. We planted it in the tub, and it grew beautifully throughout the duration of the exhibition. So it was really a very, very exciting thing to have in the exhibition. Very meaningful, I should say, to have in the exhibition. As we move through the exhibition, you'll notice that all along there's this constant juxtaposition of different kinds of objects from different echelons of people, different ethnic groups, different people with different lifestyles, and that's what we were trying to get. But we would juxtapose, a case might have, as you see there on the left, Japanese immigrant objects that were used in the pine and cane fields. Another person might have things that were of Hawaiian, from their Hawaiian families, or Portuguese, or Japanese, Chinese, Filipino. So there was a great variety of objects in the exhibition. I mean, we were really intent on not just, just getting objects from a certain segment of the population. We wanted, everything from the surfers to someone who might be very wealthy.